Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the October 6th edition of Courtside with Coach Crist. We apologize for the late start. We had a middle school game ran over just a little bit, so a little bit late getting on, but we are coming to you tonight from McGuffin's Mystery Hole out on Gatewood Road. And we like coming from here. Gorb, it's a fancy studio here. We got $1 million set.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know, don't get me wrong, like going out and getting on the road and going different places, but, you know, this is starting to kind of get settled in here.
Oh, yeah. And when you look at the comfort factor and all that, that's a pretty nice deal. So we like coming out here. All right. Of course, we like to talk about, what we do on the show, what the show is and what it's for and what it's about. First and foremost, though, before we get to that part, and I hope Darren will get the graphic up, but I want to wish my beautiful sister a happy birthday today. Today is her birthday, and October 6th.
Happy birthday.
Yep. And she's a pretty special person, Gorb, and oddly enough, she and I are what they call Irish twins.
You don't have to explain that to
Well,
me,
I don't really understand it all either, but I think if you're born within 11 months of each other, you're considered Irish twins.
Okay.
And we were born 11 months apart. She's born in October. I was born in November. So we'll be the same age for about a month, and then I'll jump back in front of her again.
Okay.
So, but and because of that, we shared a lot in our lives, because we went to school together.
Yeah.
We're in the same grade.
Right.
We both of us ended up at college at Glenville, mostly because of her. But we both ended up going to college together, and then we became teachers. So, we shared a lot of good times during all that. A lot of tough times too. She was the only girl out of 5, so you know what kind of early life she led. But she persevered and made it through.
Yep.
And so happy birthday to you, Robin, and we hope you're watching. And you and Mr. Biggs are probably on the road, so we hope you, if you're still traveling, hope you had a safe trip. And if you're there, well, then good. Kick back and enjoy it. Also like to thank a couple of people, and I always do this each week because if I don't do it consistently, I forget, and I don't want to forget these folks. I want to thank a couple of people: Mike Dunlap, Frank Fear, Mark Parsons, Dale Wolfley. Those folks have helped us a lot here on the show, helps us with guests, helps us with promoting the show, and even being guests and contributing. So those guys have done a lot for our show, and we really do appreciate that, and can't thank them enough for all the support they give us and all the help they give us. Like I said, securing guests and other things as well. On the show, we like to try to recognize our local high school and middle school athletes, and not just athletes. Well, I guess athletes, cheerleaders, band members, whatever. I guess you call them all athletes. Yeah. We like to recognize those folks, and Geno's is kind enough to sponsor an athlete of the week each week, so we pick one of those. We also do ball games every week, and or try to do the games and cover them all. Tonight we covered the Oak Hill Middle School team. Tomorrow we'll be covering the Oak Hill High School team and taking on Greenbrier East. Big game for us tomorrow, Gord.
Yeah, it's homecoming week. It's a big week to start out with, and then you throw in it's Greenbrier East. Oak Hill and Greenbrier East. It's a pretty good rivalry, and that's just not in football. That's in all the sports that they play against each other. So the kids are definitely motivated, I think, for this week, and we're ready to get tomorrow night here.
Oh yeah, yep, should be a good one. And we've been pretty competitive, and I know some of the scores got out of hand a little bit, but still, I think competitive games. And we talked to, I think Tim Stevens was his name, from the Huntington Herald-Dispatch last week, and he was very complimentary of Oak Hill, even though the score was pretty lopsided in the end. He talked about what a good effort they put forth, how well they played defensively. Just couldn't get any offense going, but he was very complimentary of the team.
Yeah, offensive. Our defense has been ahead of our offense all year long, and that might have just a little bit to do with it. We're a little bit older on that side of the ball, and with the grades we have on each side of the ball, and even the games played on each side of the ball, defense is way ahead of the offense. But I thought we went down to Cabell Mellon. It was a tough task to begin with, but I thought our kids definitely played hard. They opened up with a huge long drive and had fourth down conversions, and then we fumbled on the second play of the game, and they only had to go 15 yards to get another score, and that was it for the first half. We battled each other. We finally started putting a little drive together there towards the end of the half, but we just missed a couple blocks, and we didn't get that first down, and that kind of just backed us up. And that when you play the better teams, bigger teams, Cabell Midland, it's tough to overcome negative plays.
Right.
It just it
against
really
good
is.
teams like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to overcome against anybody, but a really good team like them, it's real hard.
Yeah, but like I said, I think it ended up getting. I think it was maybe 28-0 going into the fourth quarter. Then it kind of just snowballed. We got our younger kids in there, they're in the fourth quarter, and they scored a couple times on them. But like I said, I thought for 2.5 quarters or maybe a little bit more, I thought our kids fought hard on defense. Really did.
Yep.
So
hopefully we have another good effort tomorrow night and get us a win there for homecoming. So we'll be there to cover it. So make sure you tune in. 7:30 on the New River Network. We'll have Oak Hill High School football for you. Also want to remind you, too, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Like us on Facebook.
Yes.
And make sure you do that. That helps us out. We appreciate everybody that's done that. Our numbers have increased.
Yeah,
so we like that.
We're about to hit a mark on Facebook. If we can get there tonight, guys, that'd be great. In YouTube, the numbers keep going up. Slowly, but it's going up, we just need those numbers to go up. People like and subscribe. That's the easiest thing to do.
So, what's the landmark we're hitting tonight? Or May
1,300.
1,300. We might up our prize giveaways.
Yeah,
if we
exactly.
Get that many out. I mean, right now we're giving away a free pizza. So, and that's being provided for free. So. We could boost that up a little bit if we keep getting more and more viewers. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and like on Facebook. We appreciate that. That helps us out a lot. Helps us keep track too of things we're doing that people like and maybe not like so much, and we can kind of adjust accordingly. That helps as well. So make sure you do that. With us tonight is another special guest, great player at WVU between 67 and 70. Also, like Mickey Plumley, he has a little scholarship program that he put together, and he still works it. And he was a great lineman at WVU. From what I understand and what I have heard, tremendous football player, tremendous person, and we're looking forward to talking to him. And his name is Bob Zitelli. And we again, I have to thank Frank Fear mainly for helping me get him lined up. He's been a big help in getting all these guys, and we've been going over that era, that late 60s, early 70s football era at WVU, and it's been fascinating. It's been a blast. We've had a good time with these guys, and we have really enjoyed having them on the show, and I'm sure we're going to enjoy tonight's guest as well. Last week, Gary Griffith from Myrtle Beach listening to us just told me he likes me, so he said he clicked a button on there and said, I like you. I appreciate that, Gary. Gary listens down in Myrtle Beach. He's a broadcaster down there and a tremendous broadcaster, and he always tries to tune in, and I try to tune into his stuff, and we really appreciate him listening down in Myrtle Beach. So thank you for the like, Gary, and the watch. So, but anyway, last week we had a good guest, very entertaining guest, very interesting guest, and by the man. Let me get my tongue out from front of my IT so I can see what I want to say. Very interesting man by the name of Richard Bell, a legendary coach. What a stellar coaching career that guy had, and that was a ton of fun talking to him. But we've had a blast talking to these guys from the late 60s, early 70s, trying to keep that legacy alive. That's our goal here with these shows, and we enjoy doing it so much. And all of them have been so appreciative and so thankful. We appreciate that too. And we're looking forward to talking to Bob tonight. That ought to be lots and lots of fun. All right, Gorb, now what we do normally at the beginning of every show, we run a little bit behind tonight, so we don't want to get discombobulated and get all out of order. But typically we have our good friend Muggy McLeod, our one eye in the sky, Chopper One traffic and weatherman, out there doing work for us. And he has sent in a report, and we're going to get to that now. So let's hear it from Muggy.
This is Muggy McLeod with your one eye in the sky, NRN Chopper One traffic and weather report. We are flying kind of low today as fuel prices begin to rise due to a shortage of common sense and foreign control over supplies, and mainly because Misty Rains is a little under the weather. As we throttle up, I am looking down on Route 66, pickup sticks, somewhere near St. Louis to practice flying under the Gateway Arch in preparation for the upcoming Bridge Day celebration.
Oh, get a little practice.
Route 66, as you may not know, Coach, was finished in 1926 and stretched 2,448 miles from Chicago to Los Angeles. As you can now imagine, there isn't really any traffic to note. One, because people now use the interstate highway system. Two, there's really nothing here to see. And three, Route 66 doesn't even exist anymore. So you'll have to get your kicks some other way.
Okay.
There does seem to be a little traffic backup as a Native American on a horse has stopped in front of the Big Chief Roadhouse restaurant attempting to get a cell phone signal.
Oh.
Wonder what that's all about. Anyway, moving along, the former Route 66, we see what appears to be a group of nudists gathering at the Route 66 Park, State Park. I guess they don't call it the Show Me State for nothing, Coach.
I guess not. I guess not.
As we dodge a couple of cardinals with a full throttle exit from the park by Misty Rains, I'll move on to the weather. Brought to you tonight by the Donut Drive-In, where you get a free hot dog with every donut purchased, just for mentioning our on air.
Oh.
Anyway, the weather for this weekend forecast calls for typical fall weather, tolerable during the day and crappy cold at night, or as you say on your show, Coach, it's football weather.
That's right.
So that does it for me, Muggy McLeod, with your One Eye in the Sky, NRN Chopper One Traffic and Weather Report. Hasta la vista, baby.
All right, Muggy McLeod with that report, and Muggy's he's always on it, you know, and we enjoyed listening to Muggy and giving us the updates. And he mentioned the Indian out there on the horse. We're getting ready to celebrate Columbus Day, Gorb. I don't know how much attention you paid in my history class, but if you did pay any attention at all, you know that, Christopher Columbus, even though we have a holiday for him and he's hailed and as I guess maybe a hero because he discovered some land, but in reality, Gorb, that was a pretty nasty time and mistreated a lot of folks after that and it's come back to hurt us some in some ways and so Christopher Columbus, I don't want to get into a history lesson, but we're celebrating Christopher Columbus Day on Monday, so that's what was the reference to the Indian on the horse. And I think we'll probably be hearing a little bit more about that as the show rolls on. All right, let's get us a quick break in here. One of the segments we do is our house call with Dr. Crist. We do have Dr. Crist waiting on us down in Alabama, I guess. He's not in, like Darren in Greece or Spain or Portugal or Maui or wherever he might be. I'm hoping he's in Alabama. Well, for his sake, I hope he's in Spain. I mean, that'd be cool. Anyway, we're going to call Dr. Crist up here in just a minute. We're going to be talking a little bit about the NIL and the economics of the NIL, which is the name, image, and likeness stuff that's going on in college athletics right now. So let's get us a quick break in. I'm Greg Crist. That is Mr. Dave Gorby. We're coming to you from McGuffin's Mystery Hole out on Gatewood Road. We're going to take a quick one. We'll come back with Dr. Crist and our house call here in just 1 minute. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back. Back to Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist. That is my good friend and sidekick Dave Gorby. We're coming to you tonight from McGuffin's Mystery Hole out on Gatewood Road. We're hidden out here in a top secret bunker that nobody knows about. And we are at the point in time in our show when we like to do our house call with Dr. Crist. And Dr. Crist, we assume you're in Alabama. We talked about it earlier. We thought maybe you might be in Spain, Portugal, Greece. We didn't know where you might be, but we're assuming it's Alabama.
No, I'm in beautiful sunny Alabama. So I'm enjoying staring at the lake every day. So
nice.
On the water. Yeah.
Till the next vacation. Yeah.
Till the next vacation. That's it.
Yeah, it's hard to believe you go on vacation from that. I mean, you go on vacation from vacation.
Well, it's kind of nice, but we had to pull our wave runners out this week because they're getting ready to lower the water. So
my gosh,
tough life.
Don't get to ride those anymore.
Yeah, tough times, man. Tough times.
It's tough, man. It is tough.
All right, what's got going on tonight?
Well, a couple of things. I get, Muggy McLeod's comment about the person riding on the horseback did remind me of a joke about a guy on the stagecoach, and he's sitting in the back, and he sees this Indian way far back, and the Indian keeps getting closer and closer, and they're going, what are you going to do? You got to shoot him. And he gets closer and closer, and finally the Indian's right up there. He says, how come you shoot him? He said, I can't. I've been knowing him since he was this tall. So imagine holding your fingers real close together because he was so far away.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
All right.
It's like the horse goes into the bar and the bartender says, hey, man, why the long face? That's all when everybody's there. All right. What's on the itinerary tonight? What are we talking about?
I want to talk a little bit about the NIL, but I really wanted to talk about the economics of it because I think that's something that kind of gets lost in all this. And I'm not just talking about the players making money. I'm talking about the whole economic system and kind of how it all fits in. If you think about the NCAA and the economic system they operate under, they're one of those sports, like a lot of sport organizations that have a special status where they can be basically a monopoly, right? All the pro sports. And every time they do something that legislatures don't like or something controversial happens, they threaten to pull that status from them,
Right.
And the NCAA is no different. You think about how they're set up. They are a self-governing body. The NCAA basically is all the presidents from all the schools, and they got together and they kind of decided this is kind of the rules that we're going to follow. And they kind of follow them and they kind of enforce them, selectively.
Right.
And everybody pitches in money and everybody kind of shares in it, and everybody wins. And we've talked about this. The economics of it for the schools is that the schools and athletic departments make out with a lot of money, and the players don't get much, if anything at all. Well, part of that has changed because the conferences have gotten so strong, right? The conferences have gained in status and strength and leverage and power. And so now they're kind of controlling the economics of NCAA, especially in football, where they say, here's how much money you're going to get if you're in our conference. And when they talk about, like when the conferences start expanding, they talk about, well, what value does this team add? Are they going to try to add like the Big Ten? Are they going to add a Washington or Oregon because of what value they may add? What they're really talking about is how many more eyeballs are going to bring the TV, so they can get a better TV deal, and then that way it raises the stakes for everybody. But it's the conferences themselves that decide what that value really is. Think about it. What value does Vanderbilt bring to the SEC? Right? It's not like they have a powerhouse football program or anything like that. They're good in baseball, but, eyeballs to TV, I don't really know about that. But probably they're going to stay in the SEC because the SEC values whatever it is they think that Vanderbilt contributes. And I don't even know what that is.
Maybe it's the overall GPA.
Maybe it is. Maybe it helps their what is that score they talk about? The score that all the schools get rated on.
Right.
It could be something like that. And so for whatever it is, they say they're valuable to us and valuable for us enough to give them a full share of whatever it is that we distribute every year. And then you come to the play. And now we have this NIL, and what do we keep hearing? We keep hearing it's the wild, wild west. You know, there are no rules. This is just crazy. People are just, you know, moving all over the place. It's like free agency going crazy. I was sitting here watching news the other day, local news, and we have a Republican senator in Alabama who's a former football coach, Tommy Tuberville. And Tommy Tuberville says, you know, we need this is the wild, wild west. We need some regulations and rules in place. We need to have all 50 states operating by the same rules so that everything is level on a level playing field. And I stopped and thought, wait a minute, you're a Republican?
Yeah.
That sounds like socialism to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What happened to free market, where that individual gets to determine, the market determines what value that individual has? What happened to states' rights, where every state gets to make their own rules, you know, and not be overly regulated? Why all of a sudden would Republican politicians jump on board, with what is clearly a socialist economic idea? That's crazy, right? Now I know that the rich get richer, and it's not a level playing field by any means. But by the same token, is it really right to tell these players, sorry guys, you have to operate by a different set of rules that we decide, the different rules from what we get to operate from? Because, by the way, if a conference offers us more money and we can jump, we're leaving, right? Nobody's making to stop us. Yep. We're going to go. Why is it? Why do you think that is? Why do all of a sudden we want to not have the market determine the value of these players? Why do we not want to have some open market system where these players get to earn whatever it is they get to earn, and let the market decide what is valuable and why that person is valuable? As much as I'm trying to understand, or I'm trying to come up with a good reason why it shouldn't be the Wild Wild West, but to be honest, I really can't come up with a good reason. Yeah. It's not inherently fair to the players. It's never been fair to the players, but it's certainly not fair to them to say, you can only make the amount of money that we think you can make.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, that's not fair.
I would think Tuberville, a couple of things. Number one is he's an Auburn guy, and he knows Alabama's going to get all the good players. So you don't that's number one. That's probably the first reason why he's wanting to do that. And the second reason is they just it's like a buffet to them. They like to pick and choose what they want to control. And if it's anything else, then oh my gosh, it's socialism. But they pick and choose, and that's just something they want to control. And and I'm like you. I don't think. I mean, I'm not saying that they can't put in some controls, like the institutions could, like maybe sign a contract and holding the money until you play a couple of years, stuff like that. But as far as what you can make, hey, that's what they believe in. So that's what's going. That's what they let it happen.
Hey, if that booster that owns a car dealership and he thinks you're worth $50,000 to advertise his car, then he should be able to pay him $50,000.
That's exactly right. I agree.
We sure wouldn't go to that car dealer and say, hey, you can only charge this much for your car.
Right.
We don't do that.
Right. Yep.
We don't do that.
Yep. Hypocrisy at its finest.
It is hypocrisy at its finest, and I have my own views about why that is. But it's funny what brings out the socialist in people. There are other situations. Well, when the economy goes bad, everybody becomes a socialist.
Oh but I always tried to explain to my students in school. I would always print up socialism, a definition, communism, capitalism, all these different economic systems. Of course, communism is a political system, but the socialist, the Catholic, capitalist, and all that, to compare them, and and make them understand that there are certain things that we enjoy in this country because of socialist programs.
That's right,
and there's nothing wrong with that. And why everybody wants to howl about that. I never understood. It's because mainly they don't know what the definition of it is and they don't know what it means. But anyway, yeah, I got my own beliefs too about that. But we'll not get into it on the show since we're not a political show here too much.
We'll get into politics, right?
Yeah, try not to. I'm afraid our audience caller might throw us right in the middle of one. I'm afraid.
But it does bring up some really interesting questions, though, about the whole economics of the whole situation.
Yep.
And how, these people are, and it goes back to the whole thing about several years ago when the college football players tried to unionize.
Right.
And if that would have happened, guess what? It wouldn't have been the Wild Wild West.
Right.
Okay. It would have been exactly what Tommy Tuberville was describing.
Yep, that's right.
But they rejected that. They go, oh, no, you can't do that.
No, not a union. Not a union.
Yeah, you're not employees, so you can't unionize.
Yep.
And now that it's become this whole it's really the epitome of free agency.
Yeah.
And I am sure that there'll be some rules that come in there. But I tell you what, it makes me a little queasy to think they might try to intervene and say, hey, you can only make so much, or you have to do this with the money, or whatever. I truly believe they should be able to make whatever they can make.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
know?
right. Yep, I think so too. And they deserve it if they can get it. Can't. But anyway, I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Well, anyway, I appreciate it, man. That's good stuff as always. And we're going to have to get off here. We got a good guest we got coming up here later on, but we do appreciate that input. That's interesting stuff as always. And we hope you guys have a good evening down there in Alabama.
All right. Y'all take care.
All right. Take care. Love you, man.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Good stuff there, Corbin. He's right. They want to control the things they want to control. The other things they don't, they put names on it and labels and make it sound horrible, And, I'm like him. I would hate to see our government cap what these players can make, after fighting for this and getting this set up. It's just not fair, I mean, and, the other thing they don't ever mention, they don't ever mention these coaches. I mean, they're out there making, look at Nick Saban. And I don't bemoan him, whatever they think he's worth, that's up to them. But he's making $10 million a year.
Yeah.
But he's also doing Aflac commercials and all these other things where he's making more millions. There's no limit on that.
Right.
Why limit the players? You're not going to limit everybody else,
Yeah.
That ain't fair. But anyway, one thing, Gorb, I forgot last week. I don't know if you even noticed this or not. I never mentioned our athlete of the week last week.
I know you didn't.
Oh, you did notice, huh? Anyway, we let that slip by us. I let it slip by me. You didn't let it slip by. I did.
Well, it just kind of happened, but I did realize, kind of when the show was over. Yeah. Not when I got home, but was packing up stuff.
Where were we last week?
Pinheads.
That's right. We was outside of Pinheads. Yeah, we just got busy there and got going, and I forgot. Anyway, last week's athlete of the week was Ethan Vargo Thomas. Ethan Vargo Thomas, of course, plays for the Oak Hill Red Devils, and Ethan had a 3-touchdown game against Ripley, kicked some extra points, done some punting, done some kickoffs, done a lot of good things. And Ethan was our athlete of the week this week, so congratulations to Ethan Vargo Thomas for being selected last week's athlete of the week. And I forgot to mention him. This is the Geno's Pizza Courtside with Coach Crist athlete of the week, and we appreciate Gino sponsoring that thing for us, taking care of these kids, giving them pizzas and that sort of thing. This week's athlete of the week, I will announce after we come back from a break. Okay. And I'm not going to forget him either. I'm going to go ahead and do it as soon as we get back from our break. After that, we will be talking to Bob Zitelli, former WU great, and now up to some good stuff now as well. Can't wait to talk to him. So we'll take us a quick one. We'll come back, and we will have our athlete of the week for this week, and then we'll get on with the show with Bob Zitelli. So I hope you'll stay with us. Greg Crist, Dave Gorby from the Mystery Hole out here on Gatewood Road. Stay tuned. We'll be back. with Coach Crist show. That's Dave Gorby, my good buddy and sidekick. I'm Greg Crist. We're coming to you from McGuffin's Mystery Hole out on Gatewood Road, hidden deep down in the studio bunker, as we like to say. And Gorb, we want to mention again, everybody needs to go on and like and subscribe on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Like us on Facebook. They'll comment in there.
I mean, this is under the New River Network.
Yep.
Yep. So we just need these numbers to keep building up, and
right. That helps us.
Like, subscribe, comment. I mean, do what you got to do. You know?
Yep. That helps us. That all helps us. And anything you'd like to see on the show or any ideas you have, let us know. Do have a little new thing I'm going to add here next week probably. I'll let you in on that, and you can start thinking about it as well. But we also want to talk about the advertising opportunities we have, which we do have, and you're more than welcome to jump on here and advertise. And I tell a lot of people, Corb, looks like our audience caller has made it. Courtside with Coach Chris. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, Kimosabe, Coach Charlie.
Oh.
This Chief Nidazad Azad.
Oh.
I am first-time smoke signaler.
First time smoke signaler. And that name, I think, translated means Chief Hardleg, if I'm not mistaken. Here's your sounds, and there's your symbol. What's up, Chief?
Oh, not much, Coach. Life not ever same since Columbus.
Nope.
That pale-faced white skin come knocking on our teepee door.
Yep. Made a mess.
That's what's going on.
Yep.
Yes, he bring many good things, but many bad things too.
Right.
Good things like whiskey, Remington rifle, corn syrup, and Kim Kardashian.
Okay.
Bad things he bring. Corn whiskey, Remington rifle, corn syrup, and Kim Kardashian.
Good and the bad, huh? And the ugly.
Yes. Yeah, but he also bring global warming, gonorrhea, beachfront property, and Buffalo Bill.
Okay, yep. I think you're right on.
He also bring neckbeards.
Yes, he did bring those as well. Because they didn't have them before
Coach.
he came around.
No, Coach, do not. Me sing sorrowful tune to you today, Coach Kimasabi.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, my cousin dancing with Ugly Squall died in horrible accident last week.
Oh, no.
Yes, he was legendary tracker, could track anything over a mountain, through winding streams and thick forest. Last week, he got on track of something he had never seen before.
Oh.
He tracked for miles, around curve, uphill, through hole in mountain. Then he got hit by train.
Ooh. No way.
Yes, he was on the track. Get it?
Got it.
Anyway.
Yeah. Train
Very
track.
tragic.
Yep.
Now we call that the one-eyed serpent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
On the train track.
Yes, Coach Kimosabi. I like listening to your show, especially Gorby Honan neck. That means bear. Anyway,
Bear.
Gorby Bear neck.
Bear.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
He remind me of young Machakan back home. Since you talk sport with many pale-faced listeners, I have words of wisdom.
All right.
Washington football team, still Redskin in my book,
Yeah.
and still bad.
Right. Yes.
Me no like any team named Cowboys. Me like Cleveland baseball team because they keep Indian as mascot. His name Chief Wahoo.
Huh.
Yes.
Yeah, well.
And I like him because he run loose scalping little pale-faced kids when no one looking.
You know he's gone now, right?
Yes.
They are
Very, very sad.
They're the Guardians now.
He must have been tracking with my cousin.
Yeah.
They're in the playoffs, though.
They are in the playoffs. Yep.
Yes. Because they have that crazy pitcher with thick glasses.
Yep.
I was going to say because White Sox management needs to get better.
Okay. It's a
That'd be
debate.
my thought exactly.
You got us a debate.
Last word of wisdom from your casino Indian and not owner of 7-Eleven. WVU receivers have been cursed. As we say, Nahisi wa amasawata.
What that mean?
Or man with three fingers walks with toes turned outward. West Virginia receivers.
Okay.
Man with three fingers walks with toes turned outward.
All right.
Okay, Coach Kimasabi. I had wanted to run white flag up totem pole for that medicine man who lived on lake near Kalija.
Okay.
However, but he beat me on show due to technical difficulty.
Oh, yeah.
So I ask you something that puts burr in my horse blanket for a long time.
All right.
Why no Native American Indian in professional sport? No beats bear with club in MLB. No runs through rock wall in NFL. No jump to clouds in NBA. And no run with wolves on Olympic track team.
I don't know.
We only get one guy on TV, and he cries over litter, and he is a Mexican. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I don't.
Sad state of affairs, isn't it? You did have Jim
Yes.
Thorpe. Wasn't he Indian?
Yes,
Yeah. Well,
kind of.
he was
Yes.
good enough to make up for a bunch of them. But I feel
Yes.
your pain. I see what you're saying.
Yes. So I say leave mascot names because that's the only Indian in professional sports.
All right. I agree
All right,
with you.
Coach. I must go, Coach Kimasabi.
All
My
right.
sister Restless Amik, going with me to belt out Posey Chacamo, and he is always chunta. So Cochada always bringing him down.
Right. Yeah, he has a rough way to go, don't he?
Did you get all of that, Coach?
I think so. I'll go back and watch it again.
Yeah, you might have to Google all those Indian ones.
I think I probably will. All right, Chief. We
Okay.
appreciate your call.
Yes, Coach. So long, Kimasabi. May your tears always stream down your back, and your horse always lift tail when pooping.
Yep. There you go. Good deal.
Donna, as we say, Donna Dagovic, paleface.
Okay. What's that mean?
Till we meet again.
All right. Sounds good.
Indians do not say goodbye, Coach. We just say till we meet again.
All right. Till we meet again, Chief Hardleg.
And how?
All right. Like on the phone. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Donna Godavi.
All right. Bye. Oh, man. Chief Hardleg full of it tonight, Coach. I don't know. Man, alive. Can't keep up with him. All them words and stuff he uses, I can't keep up with him. All right, real quick here before we take a break, we want to mention this week's Gino's Pizza, Courtside with Coach Crist, Athlete of the Week. This week's winner is a young man by the name of Ty Nickel. Ty plays football for the Greenbrier West Cavaliers. Last week against Shady Spring, he had 203 yards on 27 carries, 5 touchdowns, 1 reception for 8 yards, 7 tackles on defense, 2 of them for a loss, and 1 forced fumble.
It's not bad.
Nope, not a bad night, and a big night for Greenbrier West over Shady Spring. All right, we'll take us a break. When we come back, we will have Bob Zitelli on. We appreciate him waiting on us through all the foolishness, but we're getting ready to call him right now. When we're in the break, and when we come back, we'll talk to Mr. Bob Zitelli. Stay with us here on Courtside with Coach Crist. That's Dave Gorby. I'm Greg Crist. We shall return. back to Courtside with Coach Crist. I'm Greg Crist. That's Dave Gorby. We are coming to you live tonight from McGuffin's Mystery Hole out on Gatewood Road, out here hidden in the bunker somewhere where nobody can find us. In case we make somebody mad, Dave, we don't want them to know where we're at. So right now, we are tickled to death to be joined by our special guest, a man by the name of Mr. Bob Zitelli. He was a excellent football player at WVU. He graduated from WVU with a Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education, Comprehensive Social Studies. Dave, that sounds familiar. That's what I graduated with. He played at WVU during that special era, 68, 69, 70, and he was on the Peach Bowl team, which we'll talk to him a little bit about here shortly. He's also a retired journeyman Boilermaker. 35 years in the business. And I always wondered what a journeyman was. I was a journeyman, but that was when I was in college, and they were a hot band, Journey, so I was a journeyman. Anyway, he also, like Mickey Plumley, raises money for scholarships through an organization that he created, and I'm not going to tell you a lot about that. I'm going to let him talk about that as well here in just a little bit. He is also a lifetime member of the West Virginia Mountaineer Athletic Club. He taught school for a while. Dave taught some social studies for a little while, and we know what that's like. So anyway, enough of me talking. Let's get to talking to Mr. Bob Zitelli. Bob, we appreciate you joining the show. We thank you for waiting on us tonight as we weeded through some of our foolishness.
Well, it's an honor to be able to be on your show this evening. An even greater honor to talk to all of Mountaineer fans. I hope I represent all of my teammates, and especially two of our coaches who we hold very dear to our hearts, Coach Richard Bell, Bill Gallicut, who are still standing tall right now. So we love them, and I'm ready with any questions you might have.
All right. We enjoyed Richard Bell last week. He was a lot of fun and very interesting guy. What a storied career he had, and it was fun to talk to him. Well, let's start out. Now, most people, who watch this show, we have these Mountaineers on, former Mountaineers. They want to hear about your days at WVU. I don't want you to talk about the Peach Bowl team yet. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. That'll still one of my questions. But I want you to talk about your playing days at WVU, what they meant to you, how it all transpired, and what some of your memories are.
Well, I was, coming out of Stowe Rocks High School, I was actually recruited by Coach Bowden. He was in Western Pennsylvania at the time, actually trying to recruit three of our outstanding quarterbacks that were in the area at that time. Unfortunately, they opted to go to different schools. And he happened to get one of the game films on one of the quarterbacks and questioned my high school coach about who that number 65 was. Went to the next school, one of our rival schools. 65 caught his eye again. Next thing I know, God came to the high school. What Virginia University offering me an athletic scholarship was probably one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. I just think, I reflect back that at that moment in time, that's where I was supposed to be. A lot of our boys in Western Pennsylvania. I always like to say they had short umbilical cords. They wanted to stay close to the kid. Go to Penn State. I wanted to get out of town and expand my horizons and meet some different people. West Virginia offered the scholarship, and knowing anyone that knew Coach Biden, he's a lovable person, likable fella, but even more so, he was able to teach us things that have carried into our lives to this very day. It was more than our playing days at West Virginia. The fellas that were there prior to us with Coach Corum and into our era, 61st recruiting class for Jim Carlin was 1967. That was a unique group of men that came together and meshed with those upperclassmen from Coach Corum's senior class. We've always viewed ourselves as the foundation block for greatness at West Virginia University. And by that, I mean we played the block, and then there were other layers that went on top of what my teammates and coaches followed. These men were parts of the country. We had different customs and different ways about ourselves. I think, from a historical standpoint or sociological standpoint, those late 60s, early 70s, there were a lot of turbulence taking place within our country.
Yep.
With the various assassinations, Kennedy and Robert Kennedy, and the civil rights movement, the war in Vietnam.
Yep.
Those were all social things that were taking place that shaped our nation. Coaches kept us focused on what we were supposed to do, representing the university and the state. We were there to do our job the best we could, and everyone tried to put their best foot forward at all times. Being a student athlete, people on campus know who you are, what you do, where you go, so on and so forth. So you're under the microscope. And, one thing that we didn't want to do was to embarrass ourselves, let alone the team.
Don't mean to interrupt, but did the coaches talk about some of this social stuff with you guys? And I know today there's a lot of discussion about it, a lot of different forms of protest and that sort of thing. Like you said, that was a turbulent time, and you had protests all over the country at different universities. I would think they would address those things with you guys and try to explain their feelings about the protest and that sort of thing, because I'm sure it's something that they didn't really want to have you guys involved in. But I would have thought they would talk to you about it. So did they discuss those issues with you?
Yeah, they actually did. They said, there's a lot going on in our country right now, and it would be easy to get caught up in the protest and to be somewhere where you're not supposed to be,
right,
and face disciplinary action. So they basically told us, just be smart in what you're doing. So most of us got the message.
Right.
Don't go there, doesn't want to participate. It was be smart in what you're doing.
Right.
And you don't want to get caught up in any disciplinary action taken by the university against you.
Right.
So that's was a learning lesson for us.
Yeah.
17, 18, 19 years old. The message came across loud and clear.
Absolutely. I'm sure it did. I don't know today if that message would resonate very well, but yeah, I'm sure it resonated back then. And now you were on the 1969 team, the 11-1 team, and won the Peach Bowl. And we've talked about this to a couple of different fellows that played with you, and that one of the things we've talked about and people don't realize is that there were only 11 bowl games in the country at that time, and for us to be in one of the teams in it, that's pretty special. And you guys were an awful good football team. I've watched the videos and the highlights, and man, what a team! And you guys were really good. Talk a little bit about that 69 team, again 11-1, and your Peach Bowl win, and what you felt like that meant to the program, to the state.
Well, I go back to coming into the university in August of 66. I'm sorry, 67, and the coaches told us if we stay focused on what we're supposed to do. These coaches were excellent in evaluating talent and the skill set. They moved some people around to fit into the systems that they were implementing. So they were able to put people in the right spot to be successful.
Right.
Very diligent in watching game film and explaining and actually teaching on the field. Carry over into game days. But the 69 team, we had an excellent quarterback, my roommate Mike Sherwood,
awesome,
from Ohio, and we had a plethora running backs. Any one of those running backs that stepped to the plate, we would not lose a step.
Right.
The linemen, we were pretty much too deep across the front. So, the wide receivers, we were more than likely too deep again. And I think everybody was pretty much focused coming out of the 68 season, going into the 69 season. I know we were pumped up because the level of competition that we were facing was quite different than, not to be disrespectful, than Southern Conference that we had been.
Right.
We knew what we were going to be up against, and we studied game film. We practiced hard. We were where we were supposed to be at a given time, and we were disciplined in the fact that we never lost focus on what we were supposed to do. Knew if we would get 9 to 10 games, we probably were going to go to a bowl game. And lo and behold, we finished 16th in the country, I believe, in 1960. Unique group of men. Probably the most unique bunch of men I've ever been around. We had a championship high school team, but you're too young and immature. And as years go with these guys, Greg, hey, I love my teammates. They're my brothers. What can I tell you?
Yep.
They feel the same way towards me. So I know, to this day, we keep in touch. We've never lost contact with one another, which is cherished by all of us. The
Absolutely.
team was really an amazing experience, but that 69 team.
It's funny. We've had quite a few of your teammates on here in the last couple of months. We've been trying to focus on that era, and we've had quite a few of those guys on. All of them say basically the same things about the camaraderie, the love for each other, and the fact they stay in contact with each other. But one other thing we've also gotten is we've had some on the air stories, and we've had a few off the air stories, especially about the Peach Bowl and that sort of thing. That were pretty interesting, and some of them we really shouldn't go on the air to talk about. But can you give us any good stories from the Peach Bowl trip?
Oh yeah, the trip was great. I mean, anytime you're 19, 20 years old, you go on an airplane and go to Atlanta, that's a thrill in itself. I know you and I talked previously. Obviously, all of us are sworn to secrecy to some stories. We'll take it to the grave. Those will believe me.
All right. Well, in that vein, then I got one here, and I've got to turn on my voicemail.
Hey, Coach, this is Dickie Lee.
I want you to listen to this.
I want you to ask
Go ahead.
the Z-Man, Zakelli, what happened at the cottage between the time Coach Bowden was hired and he got a staff? Ask him what happened at the cottage. You might as well give him one. He called us anyway. Just ask Z-Man. Live on air.
All right. I don't know if you was able to hear all that or not.
No,
You couldn't hear it. Okay, that was a man by the name of Dickie Roberts, and he said, whatever you do, ask the Z-Man about what happened at the cottage when Bobby Bowden, I think, was first there. I'm not sure what he said about Bowden, but Bowden was there, and about meeting the new assistant coach in the cottage. He wanted me to ask you live on the air and get your answer about what happened in the cottage.
All right. Well, yeah, that was a watering hole out in Star City. We used to be able to sneak in and sneak out on Thursdays. So several of us decided we're going to go get hydrated. We're going to go out.
I did those on Thursday nights up there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
Thursday night was the night.
Yeah.
We're going to get hydrated. So we went. I think it was our senior year. We got out there to the cottage, and we had a new defensive back coach by the name of I want to say Lyde Huggins. So Coach Huggins comes, we're sitting at the bar, okay? And I knew the owner, Jay Solero. He was a councilman out in Star City. He owned the place. So I always had a prime seat by the cash register getting people served. You know, I'm 20 going on 35 with, you know, a kid from Pittsburgh. So long story short, there are 4 or 5 of us are sitting at the bar, and we all got a beer in front of us. I'm not going to lie. We all got a beer in front of us, and Coach Huggins comes walking in, and he parks his fanny down on a table and pulls his notebook out, and he starts writing. Now, owner, Jay Solero, God rest his soul, he's behind the cash register serving drinks, and he goes, "Hey, Bobby, turn around, look who just walked in." So I turn my head around, I give the coach a wave, and I go back here. Jay says, "What do you want to do now?" I said, "Oh, the hell with it. See if he wants to be with the boys." All right. Now, next day we get down to, I guess it was spring ball, what have you, winter conditioning, whatever it was. We get down there and we see our names up on a board. When your name is on the board, that means you got a private meeting with Coach Biden. So, but he all in one at a time. Okay. Zitelli, well, I'm last on the list. Okay. But, you know, we all kept our stories all the same. You know, we were only in there for 1 or 2. We got out. We didn't stay there all night, all this and that. But they had an early morning session at stadium to kind of limber you up early in the morning. So that was a run-in at the cottage, you know, with the new coach. And it was one to remember. So being a young man that we are, I guess we just had to find another place to go to every day. So that one up though.
So what was Bowden's response to you guys?
Well, he said, "Look, these underclassmen are looking to you fellows for leadership.
Yeah.
You know, we know you're gonna go here, you're gonna go there. We know that. There's not a university where they don't do that. They even do it at Notre Dame."
That's right.
So when you're in training, you're in training. Said, now, you knew with Coach Biden, you had 3 strikes, okay? So some of us had 1, and some of us were approaching 2. But no one ever got to 3 because you knew with 3, that was it. You knew where you stood with the man, believe me.
Well, we mentioned Dickie Roberts. Of course, we're going to have him on here in a few weeks. He's in the middle of moving, doing some things, and we're going to have him on. But we've also talked to Charlie Fisher, Mickey Plumley, some other folks. Talk about your teammates a little bit. Some of these guys, I know you guys are tight and you still communicate with one another. Tell us a little bit about some of these teammates and some of these guys and their abilities.
Well, you know, Dickie Lee, he and I, you know, he was a center guard, and he was a tremendous quarterback on the offensive line. He was able to make the calls, switch the calls as the defenses made their adjustments. Dickie was a great team leader, as well as several others on that ball club. You know, I could honestly say there weren't egos, just didn't get in the way with this group of men, which is highly unusual. We had team leaders.
Yep.
Usually it was always an upperclassman. Dickie was our leader on the offensive line. He was our quarterback. My teammates, Randy Flincham, George Boyd from Mount Hope.
Yep.
Randy played at Big Creek High School. Bobby Gresham was a fantastic running back from Big Creek.
Yep.
Danny Smith, linebacker from Welch. Dickie from Welch. We had a quarterback from Bluefield. Dickie Ward was a backup quarterback, and I believe he started a few games. We had some great receivers. One of my fraternity brothers, Wayne Porter, rest in peace. the running backs, Eddie Williams, Pete Wood, rest in peace, were great running backs. And so many on a defensive line, All-American Dale Farley. One of the hardest workers on our team was Danny Wilfong, a young man that earned a scholarship by beating up on us. Walked on. I mean, he was a fantastic defensive lineman. I can't say enough about Charlie Fisher, John Hale, defensive end. Our defensive backs, my brother Leon Jenkins in Columbus, Ohio, up around the Steubenville area.
Yep.
Whole bunch of guys there that they knew what it took to be successful, and they knew what it was going to take when you were put into the corner and you had to dig down deep and come back. Even though you were down, you had to come back some way, somehow. These men found a way to get something done. And boy, did they ever get it done.
Yes, they did. And we've heard, again, a common theme amongst all of you. Same story. Good people, hard workers, no egos. And that's what it takes to be successful. Even today, you got to have some of that if you're going to be successful. And I think that shows with these guys. And again, Gorb, if you get a chance, you got to go back and watch that highlight of that season. Pretty neat watching these guys. And I see he mentions these names, and I can hear those names on the highlight film talking about these guys, and that's pretty cool to be able to watch them. And again, this is just why we like to do this, because we're hearing these great stories. You got some stuff going on now too as well. You started the scholarship program. I know we talked to Mickey Plumley. He has one here in Mount Hope. You have one up in the Pittsburgh area, and I did a little research on that. I didn't want to read it all on the air because I wanted to give you a chance to talk about it. But it's called, it's called the Athletes of Action, and you do scholarships in that area. Tell us a little bit about that.
We have two high schools in our community. School I went to, Stowe Rocks High School. We're on the other side of the track, so to speak. Okay. All right. Then we got Montour High School. We can say that. Well, that's school up on Mortgage Hill. Okay. So anyway, there are two rival high schools. One's a Class A, and one is a 4A high school these days.
Right.
In our day, we were a Class A school, but we always played up. No one wanted to play us because they had to go through the meat grinder. We played the bigger schools, and we showed them how you were supposed to play football, and we're toot the horn a little bit. Got that Western Pennsylvania championship our senior year.
There you go.
Yeah, the scholarship organization was a conversation that took place with my lovely wife of 49 years, Nancy, who is a retired elementary school teacher. Mm-hmm. And my two sons, Emmett and Nick, who both played college ball. Emmett played at Purdue, and Nick was also at Purdue for a year and then transferred to Carnegie.
I read, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I read the story today about when your youngest one was in high school playing football. You guys would go home after the game, get the car packed up. By the time he got there, you were ready to roll. You did that 7.5 hour drive, whatever it was, to Purdue to watch your other son. I'm sure that was an exhausting time, but still a fun time for you.
420.1 miles from my garage to the park.
probably remember every turn, don't you?
You tell you what, those guys at those different rest stops knew what time I was coming in. Fucking coffee was ready.
There you go. There you go. All right. Didn't mean to throw you off track here. Go ahead and talk about the organization.
Yeah, the organization, Athletes of Action. It was, that conversation took place, and we said that the exorbitant cost of higher education today is off the charts.
Yep.
We wanted to give something back. So what we did was we formed the organization, and then we started to talk to my different contacts in our community. In my day, there were high school boosters who had an annual church service. They would go to different denominations throughout our community to honor the legacies of those that came before us. And then they would have a small social breakfast afterwards. So we decided what we were going to do was to have a sit-down luncheon, have a keynote speaker, and the proceeds from the luncheon would fund scholarships to both of the high schools in our community. So the very first luncheon, we had approximately 90 attendees in a basement of a church social hall. Within 11 years, we've gone from 90 to approximately 270.
Wow.
In their first year, we awarded $1,500 to each student. Each school got one scholarship for $1,500 apiece. The last 6 years, the organization has been fortunate enough to award an $8,000 level. And our committee, our scholarship committee, gave two $2,000 scholarships to those student athletes at both of the high schools. These are student athletes who do not have full scholarship.
Right.
We try to fill the void, whether maybe it's a meal ticket or their books or some way, shape, or form. A lot of our kids, they need as much help as they could get.
Yep.
We have a group of 25 or 30 in our core. They want to get this done, Greg.
Right.
And the community is so tight knit. They can't wait to get together to see one another. We're all getting up in years.
Mm-hmm.
We've lost quite a few over a period of 10 or 11 years. So these people know how important it is to both of the high schools to be able to help these student athletes. Approximately $62,000 has been awarded to 51 scholar athletes in a period of years, and we're a small station. So,
yeah. Well, that's fantastic, and I know Mickey and I talked about it. I have a kid right now that just started up at Wheeling University. I know what it costs, and I know how difficult it is for folks, and I think that's fantastic. And again, another common theme that we get talking to all you guys is how many of you are giving back, and that's so awesome. And I think it shows the character of your team. You guys, again. There's not, it's odd. I know a lot of people may not understand this, but talking to you guys, there's not a lot of difference in, what makes them, what makes these guys up. And it's all about, giving back and being good teammates and loving one another and all that. It's just fascinating to me. And I admire you for what you're doing and appreciate what you're doing. We could, everybody needs that help, you know what I'm saying? And my son got a $1,000 scholarship, and it would pay for books and that sort of thing, which was a huge help. Anything to help is awesome. And it's called Athletes of Action. I know a lot of people probably confuse it with Athletes in Action. There is an organization called Athletes in Action, but this is Athletes of Action, and people need to get on and check it out. Even if they're not from that area, anytime you have a good cause like that, doesn't hurt to pitch in and help out.
Right.
That's awesome. Bob, a couple more questions here before we let you go. We have decided that it's important to keep the late 60s, early 70s legacies alive. And you mentioned this earlier in your talking that a lot of people think that you guys kind of laid the foundation for the success of WVU football later on. And I think we're realizing that too, the more we talk to people and the more we watch videos and highlights and that sort of thing and hear, what it's all been about, what WVU meant to everybody. What's your feelings about keeping this legacy alive from the late 60s, early 70s era?
Well, I think it's very important. Legacy is, a person that's involved from a legacy standpoint. I always viewed it as, look, when you die, you're taking it with you.
Yep.
But it has a certain effect. The legacy has a certain effect on people who are still here.
Right.
What it means. How is it going to carry on? What did those people do, those individuals do or groups do that came before you?
Right.
They took it with them. They're gone.
Right.
has to live on. It has to perpetuate itself in a positive manner, whatever that positive manner means. And to me that's viewed. That's headline, building community and honoring legacy for our organization. People get that,
Right.
It's we live in a different era right now, and we understand that. And I think you say, well, what was the legacy of the teams as the Kenny Juskowicz's, the Tom Kusers, the Bob Podbesics, and Carl Cornell's, and the people that came before us. They were laying the groundwork for us.
Right.
Yeah, and then we came together and hopefully we lay the groundwork for others, and on and on and on. I think each coach should have in mind coming into a job as a head coach or an assistant coach within the NCAA. They'll be gone. The kids will be gone. The coaches will be gone. Universities will survive.
Right.
So what are you going to do to help that university? What are you going to do to help the people of that state to come? They're coming to the ball games. They want to win.
Right.
There's one athlete that steps on the field in competition, that steps out there with the capital L. I don't even want to say it. Lose in their mind.
Right.
They're going through a rigorous program, getting ready for an hour's worth of football on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
What the preparation's like. So, I love the people. I love our fans. I love the state of West Virginia. I'm a Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah.
Hey, West Virginia, almost home. It is home. I just a different zip code.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I got to throw this in here. I know this is probably not real appropriate, but when he mentioned the legacy thing and what it means after you die, it affects people that live. It's a lot like being dumb.
Right.
Being dumb, being dead. You don't know either one. If you're dumb, if you're dead, you don't know it. It just affects everybody around you because they know it. So I know that really doesn't fit in with what we're talking about. But anyway, that made me think of that. Hey, all right, Bob. Now, you know the drill here. You've watched the show, I think, and seen some of your friends on here. You know that we do a segment called Shoot to Three. And, of course, that comes from my basketball coach. I coached basketball for about 30 years. And we come up with this idea of the Shoot to Three. And what we do is we ask you 3 rapid-fire questions on air. You got 30 seconds to answer them. If you don't answer them in 30 seconds, then there's some form of punishment that we bring down on you. And I know you're dreading that already. But if you're willing to play, we're ready to ask you some questions.
Give me number 1.
All right, number 1. You mentioned your wife, Nancy, and the fact you've been married for 47 years. Be
49.
Careful. 49 years. Okay. Well, I'm glad you got that right. I hope she's not sitting there listening either when I ask you this question. Point out one flaw of your significant other. Ooh, we got a lot of silence there, didn't we? He's probably telling her, go get me a drink, sweetheart.
Yeah.
She stopped wearing 2-piece bikinis.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Good answer. I don't remember who we asked that question to before, but they had a great answer, and it was that they had a terrible taste in men because they'd been married 35 years or whatever. All right, that's an excellent answer. Quit wearing the 2-piece. All right. That's funny. All right. And I know you got me thrown off here. All right, question number 2. What is your most endearing quality? Say that again.
Being truthful.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
That's good.
Awesome answer. All right. Question number 3. What do you believe is the most important invention in history and why?
A match.
Okay. All right. Okay. Can you tell us why? Obviously, fire.
Yeah, well, I mean, what would a match is a match, and then from the match, we got into lighters, we got into fireplaces. I mean, I think I once read that. I think I read a life story of like Cochise.
Uh-huh.
He asked a question about one of the greatest inventions in mankind, and he came up with like match glue, things of that nature. So, I mean, I go back to basics. I mean, you could go back to, IBM computers and so on and so forth. I'm a no-nonsense guy. There's so many things I could think of. I said, I get right down to the nitty-gritty, the basics of it all is, what would we do without a match?
That's right. Well, and we need to make sure that when you wish for that, if it does come down to the point to where you have to come up with that, make sure it's one of those matches that strike on anything. Because if you get a match without a match box, you can't get it lit. You have to have those strike on anything matches.
Yeah, I could have set a car, but now we're all going electric. So who knows?
All right, I gotta throw one more out here at you. I like doing these. I need to get a whole new list so I can just go through 25 of them. I think that would be the way to do the interview. Just ask these questions. All right, here we go. Wait a minute. I don't want to ask that one. What is something that you are good at that you wish you weren't?
Washing and waxing cars.
You're good at it, but you wish you weren't. I agree with you. I'm good at washing dishes, so that's what I get to do all the time at home.
Why?
I always tell everybody, Bob, when we have these questions, I always answer that one and say, back in my college days, back when I was at Glenville State, training to be a social studies teacher, which you are too, I always said that the one thing I was good at, I wish I wasn't, is that I could drink 23 beers before I had to get up and go to the bathroom. Not something I'm proud of, but hey.
On Thursday nights,
Thursday nights, baby.
On Thursday nights, you got to get hydrated.
You know what? What a lot of people don't know, when I was in college, they had cake parties for us. They
what? You know why? Why I said that?
Okay, why's that?
My wife has a black BMW. I got to.
You got to wax it. and you can't keep them clean.
Goes up the color. I mean, you get some bird crap on it. You know what I mean? It's like, why is it?
Yeah. Black cars are a curse, man. You can't keep one clean. That's for sure. All right, I tell you what, this has been a blast as always. These guys, I'm not sure this ain't our microphone making all this noise. It's driving me crazy. But anyway, we've had a blast with all you guys, and we're going to continue to do this as Frank Fear keeps feeding me guests. I'll keep having you on. You've been awesome, and we have thoroughly enjoyed it, and we look forward to hopefully talking to you again in the future.
Yeah, we're waiting for Frank to get that manuscript published on that book. Brotherhood.
Yep. Talked to him the other day about it, and he said it's pretty much finished. He's just waiting to get it published now, and we're gonna get Frank back on whenever he gets the book done, so we can talk about that.
Yep, that's great. And I said before, Greg, I certainly appreciate you giving me some time.
Oh, it's great.
Go Mountaineers.
Yep.
And you got you people out there in the state. You got to stay behind our team.
That's right.
Field to climb.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. All right. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate you very much. And it's been our pleasure. We look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
All right. Bye-bye. Bob Zitelli, great Mountaineer player back in the day, and a lot of fun to talk to. And I was told his storytelling abilities would be top-notch, which they were.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah. And these guys, they got some good stories. I mean, it's fun. Dickie Lee Roberts told me a few on the phone the other day that I can't say on the air.
He might be.
It sounds like
Dickie Roberts might be all right when we get him on here.
That sounds like the man to have on. And what I'm trying to do is get him on here live, get him on set.
Oh, that'd be good.
Because he's down in Virginia right now, or Charlottesville, I believe he said. And there's a move taking place, and he's been a little bit sick. And they're moving back to Princeton. So he said when he gets back to Princeton, he can just make the trek over here. We can go over Beckley, Princeton, somewhere like that, and meet up with him. Yeah. So we're going to get him on the set. So that'll be a ton of fun, I'm sure. That'll be another Dale Wolfley type interview, I'm sure.
Right.
But Bob Zitelli, great in his own right. That was a lot of fun. And again, people get a chance to go out here and watch these. Get on YouTube and watch those highlight films. They are awesome.
Right.
And these guys, they were players, man. They were good. And obviously they had that great team and won that Peach Bowl and everything. And it's just It's just fun to watch them. I mean, and fun to talk to them. I love talking to these guys. It's been great. All right, that's going to be way overtime tonight. Of course, we got started late, so we really can't count it as overtime. But I think Darren's getting ready to feed us, so we're going to get off the air and get prepared for our ball game tomorrow night. Don't forget to tune in 7:30 tomorrow night. 7 tomorrow night. My bad. Yeah, everybody changes times on 7 o'clock tomorrow night. I think all y'all are at 7 and home, haven't they been? So 7 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll be on the air with the Oak Hill Red Devil football team taking on Greenbrier East. Should be a good one. Yeah. So get on there and watch. And
so it should be on Greenbrier Valley channel.
Should be on the Greenbrier Valley channel as well. Yep, sure will. So we appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow night at the football game and seeing you next Thursday night here on Courtside with Coach Crist. For Mr. Dave Gorby, I am Greg Crist. We bid you good night. Have a great weekend, everybody. All right, you're in good shape.